Our top focus this morning, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson hailed US President Joe Biden as a breath of fresh air as they met in Cornwall ahead of the G7 summit. Johnson played down the difference with Washington over Brexit's impact on Northern Ireland, saying that US, UK and the EU were in complete harmony over the 1998 peace deal. Also known as the Good Friday Agreement, it has helped bring peace to Northern Ireland. During their meeting, Biden and Johnson also established a task force to re-establish travel across the Atlantic. This after the US had banned Britishers from entering as the pandemic began back last year. Now, called the Atlantic Charter, the deal commits the two countries to work together on global challenges.
Yes, look, I don't think it is any exaggeration to say that the relationship between the UK and the US is the relationship between North America and Europe, which really sort of is incarnated in that Atlantic Charter of 1941, which we've renewed today between me and President Biden, is of massive, massive strategic importance for the prosperity, the security of the world, for all the things we believe in together: democracy, human rights, the rule of law. The US and the UK stick up for those two things together. So it's incredibly important that we should affirm that. And the talks were great. They went on for a long time. We covered a huge range of subjects. And it's wonderful to listen to the Biden administration and to Joe Biden, because there's so much that they want to do together with us, from security, NATO, to climate change, and it's fantastic. It's a breath of fresh air. A lot of things they want to do together.
Now, President Biden said that the Atlantic Charter would address key issues from cybersecurity to global health and climate change. Meanwhile, leaders from the rest of the G7 countries have started to arrive for the summit. EU President Charles Michel, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Japan's Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga all landed in Cornwall on Thursday. UK, US, France, Germany, Italy, Japan and Canada make up the G7 nations. Top agendas for the three-day summit includes the pandemic, access to vaccines, economic recovery as well as the climate crisis. And we are now being joined by our correspondent Kate Fisher from Washington, D.C. for more on this. Kate, thank you for joining us. Now, we've discussed this before. President Biden has quite a task on hand to strengthen his ties with his European allies in a stark contrast to his predecessor. Now, we know that British Prime Minister Boris Johnson hailed US President Joe Biden as a breath of fresh air ahead of the G7 summit. Tell us a little bit about this meet in Cornwall.
Yeah, that's right. Boris Johnson being very effusive about President Biden, and we weren't sure how well the two leaders were going to get on, given that they have had a bit of a rocky past. Joe Biden on the campaign trail when he was campaigning to become president here likened Boris Johnson to Donald Trump. He disagreed with Brexit, which is, of course, what Boris Johnson campaigned upon to become prime minister and then led the UK to leaving the European Union. Joe Biden said he does not agree with that. He's also issued, as you mentioned in your introduction, warnings about the border security issues between the Irish Republic and Northern Ireland, which come as a result of Brexit, and his concerns that they could put the Good Friday Agreement in jeopardy, and saying that peace in Ireland should not be a side effect of this issue. So there was concern that they wouldn't get on, but it seems like they got on famously, and they've both been very positive after their meeting.
Right, Kate. Now, I want to discuss this particular thing in further detail. Now, Johnson played down the difference with Washington over Brexit's impact on Northern Ireland, saying the US, UK and EU were in complete harmony over the 1998 peace deal. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's right. Boris Johnson being very positive about the conversation that he had with Joe Biden over this, saying that they are both on the same page. The Biden administration not really saying very much after the meeting between the two leaders, but beforehand on Air Force One, the National Security Advisor telling reporters that this was a really serious issue for Joe Biden, that he would be conveying how important it was to him when he met Boris Johnson. And he said it in public as well. He did say, though, that Joe Biden would not be trying to get in the middle of a dispute between the UK and the EU. He didn't want to kind of get into the negotiations, but he did want to make sure that Boris Johnson was aware of how he felt and how strongly he felt about this. Obviously, Joe Biden has Irish heritage, and it's an important thing to him.
Absolutely. Now, also another important thing here would be Biden and Johnson established a task force to re-establish travel across the Atlantic. It's called the Atlantic Charter, and the deal commits the two countries to work together on global challenges. Now, what exactly are the challenges here specifically that the task force will deal with, and do we know anything about the strategies that they have in place for the same?
Well, this Atlantic Charter is kind of a renewal of one that was signed around 80 years ago between Woodrow Wilson and Winston Churchill. It's been updated for 2021, so issues include global health in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic, cybersecurity, climate change, things that were not an issue back then but clearly are a big issue now for both countries. In terms of travel between the US and the UK, something which is close to my heart, there is still no further details about when that will be reopened, but they have set up this task force. They say that they will be having people from the US and the UK working on this to find out a way of opening up that very busy travel corridor that is so economically important to both countries as soon as possible. But as yet, there is no date as to when the US will allow UK citizens back onto its shores.
Right, Kate. Now, we do hope that that yields some fruitful results. Thank you so much for joining us with all those details.